The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zixthor's translator crackled to life. We require someone to oversee the human younglings during the diplomatic summit. A caretaker will suffice. Emilia stood at the back of the delegation, her jaw tightening. 20 years of military service, 3 tours commanding forward operating bases, and now they wanted her to babysit. But orders were orders. Lieutenant Commander Emilia Santos reporting for child supervision duty, she said, her voice flat. Zixthor's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. Excellent. The human cubs have proven disruptive to our proceedings. The recreation hall looked like a war zone. 12 human children, ranging from ages 6 to 14, had somehow reprogrammed 3 service drones to play an elaborate game of laser tag. Furniture was overturned. Snacks were scattered across zero-gravity zones. A Ventraxian diplomat floated past the doorway, tangled in streamers, too dignity wounded to call for help. Attention! Emilia's voice cut through the chaos like a plasma blade. 12 heads snapped toward her. The drones froze mid-flight. Even the floating diplomat stopped rotating. A small boy with dark hair and mischievous eyes stepped forward. "You're not Ms. Peterson." Ms. Peterson requested emergency medical leave. Something about stress-induced cranial pressure. "I'm Commander Santos. You will address me as Commander." "Commander?" A girl with braids raised an eyebrow. "They sent a commander to watch us?" "They sent a caretaker," Emilia corrected. "I happen to be a commander." "There's a difference." Now formation. 2 lines. Tallest to shortest move. The children hesitated. The dark-haired boy, his name tag read Jax, crossed his arms. "And if we don't?" Emilia smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. "Then we'll have a conversation about what happens when orders aren't followed in a military structure. I have 3 hours of tactical doctrine on the subject. With slides." The children formed lines. By day 3, Emilia had implemented what she called structured recreational protocols. Morning physical training, modified for mixed ages and 0G sections. Educational sessions on xenobiology. Afternoon tactical simulations that looked suspiciously like organized games. The children thrived. Jax became her unofficial second-in-command, helping corral the younger ones and translating her military jargon into kid-speak. "The commander means we need to clean up before dinner," he'd explain. She's using fancy words because that's what commanders do. The other delegations noticed the change. The human cubs weren't disrupting sessions. They weren't reprogramming stations. They moved through the corridors in organized groups, greeting alien dignitaries with practiced courtesy. "The caretaker has subdued them," Zixthor observed during a break. "That's no caretaker," rumbled Cathex, the Draconan war chief. "I recognize command presence when I see it." The emergency came on day 7. Alarms screamed through the station. An asteroid undetected by aging sensors was on collision course. Impact in 40 minutes. The station's defense grid was offline for scheduled maintenance. Panic rippled through the diplomatic corps. Emilia's combat instincts kicked in. She pulled up the station schematics on her datapad, her mind already calculating trajectories and solutions. The station had mining drones, industrial models with cutting lasers. If she could coordinate them, "Commander?" Jax appeared at her elbow, his face pale but controlled. "What do we do?" She looked at the 12 faces watching her, scared but trusting. These children had survived the journey to this station, had adapted to alien environments, had learned to thrive in uncertainty. They were more resilient than half the diplomats hiding in their quarters. "Jax, I need you to be my communications officer. Round up the others. We have work to do." Emilia commandeered the station's mining control center. The children became her crew. Jax coordinated communications between groups. The older kids helped reprogram drone flight patterns using the same skills they'd employed for laser tag. The younger ones monitored readouts, calling out numbers with surprising precision. "Drone Squadron Alpha, adjust heading by 0.3 degrees, Emilia commanded. 0.3 degrees, aye. A 10-year-old confirmed. The mining drones swarmed the asteroid like metallic insects, their lasers carving away chunks in coordinated patterns. Emilia had divided the rock into segments, calculated weak points, and orchestrated a controlled fragmentation. 20 minutes to impact. The asteroid was half its original mass, 10 minutes, fragmented into dozens of smaller pieces. 5 minutes, small enough for the station's emergency shields to deflect. The pieces scattered harmlessly across the station's defensive envelope. pinging off shields like rain on a roof. The Galactic Council reconvened an emergency session. Emilia stood before them, the 12 children arranged behind her in formation. "We owe you a debt, Caretaker," Zixthor began. "Commander," Jax interrupted, stepping forward. "She's Commander Santos. She commanded 3 forward bases. She's got medals. She taught us tactical doctrine and everything." "Yeah," added the girl with braids. "She's not a caretaker. She's a commander." Emilia placed a hand on Jax's shoulder, a subtle signal to stand down. But she didn't correct him. Cathex rose from his seat, his scales glittering. "The Draconan Imperium recognizes Commander Santos. We witnessed true leadership today. Not from a caretaker, but from a warrior who adapted her skills to protect those under her command, regardless of their age." One by one, the other delegations stood in acknowledgement. Zixthor's translator hummed. "We may have mischaracterized your assignment, Commander Santos. The Galactic Council extends its formal gratitude," Emilia saluted crisply. "Just doing my job, Ambassador. Though I should note, these 12 showed more courage and discipline under pressure than some trained soldiers I've served with. They're not just cubs, they're cadets in training, whether they know it or not." Jax beamed. The other children straightened their postures. Later, in the quiet of the recreation hall, Jax approached Emilia. "Commander, were we really helpful? Or were you just keeping us busy so we wouldn't panic?" Emilia met his eyes. "Jax, in combat there's no difference between keeping someone productive and keeping them alive. You all performed your duties. That makes you part of the crew. And crew doesn't lie to crew. Yes, you were really helpful." He nodded solemnly, then grinned. "Does this mean we get medals?" "Don't push it, cadet." But the next morning, 12 children found handmade commendations on their bunks, signed by Commander Emilia Santos. Each certificate bore the words, "For courage under fire, the asteroid incident." They wore them like badges of honor for the rest of the summit, and when other delegations asked about the human cubs, the answer was always the same. They're under Commander Santos's command, not caretaker. Commander. The cubs had made sure of that.